Good morning. Hi, I'm Kristin Omdahl, and welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 400. Oopsie. This is episode 477, and we are live in Southwest Florida, waiting on the sun to rise. The sun's just coming up now over in the east, and we're in my beautiful tropical backyard. If you're joining me live, please say hello. Let me know. Say hi in a comment. Let me know if you have any questions for me. Hi, Edna and Cranjeet. Good morning, Grace and Judy, Lily, Sandra, Pamela. I can finally share with you all that Sandra is our winner from the Redbubble contest that we had last month. She was the winner that was randomly chosen on September 1st, and so I sent her the Redbubble Sunset tote bag and travel mug and issue 6. Let's grab it here. Is it here? Yeah, here it is. And I sent her a copy of issue 6 of the Create, Share, Inspire notebook. And it is this photograph that was the inspiration behind that whole Redbubble set called Purple Gold Sunset. Fancy name, huh? Hi, Jane and Judy. Carrie, missed a few names, but congratulations, Sandra. And her prize package went out yesterday. Hi, Cherie and Sulame. Hi, Christine. Hi, Cherie and Jane. How am I doing this morning? I'm a little tired, but that's okay. Some mornings I'm tired. Actually, most mornings I'm tired lately. I'm having a hard time bouncing back after something. I don't know what the something is, but I've been having a hard time getting up for a while now. I'm just low on energy. Got to get it back somehow. Hi, Melissa. Thanks for joining live. Hi, Naomi and Donna and Edna. Thanks for joining live, everybody. Well, good morning and welcome back to Create, Share, Inspire podcast. This is episode 477. What does that make us? 23 away from 500. How crazy. Still have no idea what we should do on 500. Can't tell if we should do something or not do something, but anyway, regardless of that, welcome back to the podcast. We're here live in Southwest Florida in my beautiful tropical backyard, and the sun's coming up and it's already warm and steamy here. Lots of comments on my top. Yes, I am wearing the violetta top from Layers Crochet this morning. Back up so you can see it. This is done in Be So Lush yarn. It's a A-line trapeze tank, and I'm wearing it over just a plain navy tank top and jean shorts. Super cute together though. Personally, I would like it to have less A-line in the top now that I've lost weight, so I'm not sure. I feel like I've got some thinking to do. I brought out a couple of tops this morning because it's funny, as I lose weight, I change the silhouettes that I like to wear, or it might even just be because of the jean shorts that I have on today. If I'd have worn a slimmer silhouette underneath, like leggings that matched the tank top that I have underneath, I might have been fine with how A-line the top is, but with the jean shorts I have on today, I almost feel like I'd rather have it tucked in, or I'd rather have it tied, which is definitely an option. I could probably tie a corner of it like this. Let's see. Yeah, that will work. You know what? It's a little bit bulky for a tie like that though. See if we can make it a little bit smaller. Might even need to do one with a little tiny rubber band, like a hair rubber band. Yeah, I'm not sure I like that. I feel like that's adding even more bulk in the front. But it reminded me of an accessory that we used to wear in the late 80s, and I wonder if any of you remember this as well, or if anyone knows what they're called. Do you remember those elastics that had clips on either side? And we used to take them in our tops back here and cinch them a little bit. Look at how that would change the silhouette of this top so much for me. I like that a lot better. I would like to be able, and I like the bustling effect in the back too. Does anybody remember what those are called, or if they're still available? What are those things called where you cinch the back a little bit? Cherie, you have one. Do you have one from the 80s, or do you have one that's new now? Yes, a belt would be really helpful too. Gee, do I have a belt that I could go grab? Christine just ordered them. All right, so maybe they are still available. I don't know what they're called either, but it was absolutely one of my favorite accessories I've ever owned, and I've thought about them over the years for so long because I think that they would be so handy to have for when you're wearing different combinations of clothes. Like I'm saying, if I were wearing leggings or even jeans that are more jegging-like, where they're just smooth and straight, I would have no problem with how loose this top is. And look at the flow, look at that drape. So beautiful. But because of how chunky the jeans are, because they're being folded right here, I just feel like it adds too much, chunk's not the word, right? Too much texture. And I feel like this makes the whole thing too busy, where if it was just a smooth line straight down, it could be white underneath, it could be khaki, it could be navy, it could be black even underneath. Any silhouette would be fine, but this texture of the jeans rolled up, I think, is giving too much texture to the top, and because of that, I think pulling it in would make it a more interesting silhouette. You notice how different that is? And then if we had but if we had a smooth silhouette underneath, I absolutely love the A-line of this top. So just be fun to have different options. A belt would work really, really well for what we're talking about. So let's say that you had some extra yarn of whatever top you made, and you made a long line of foundation ovals. This would be a great candidate for weaving that belt through one line of the top. And you could do it high for an empire waist up here. You could do it at your natural waist. You could even go low and blouse the whole thing up, which is super cute too. I could go grab an elastic belt to show you what I'm talking about too. Dee says it's flattering as it is. And maybe it is. Maybe I'm just too judgmental on myself today. There's always that aspect too. I know I'm not the only one. I'm just admitting it out loud. We're all judgmental. I love the top too. Thank you, Lisa. It's super fun to make. It's easy to make, and it is easy to wear. And even just in what we've been talking about this morning, you can see that there's so many different ways to wear it too. Cranjeet wants the top. So if you're wondering how to order the pattern to make this top, and it comes in a bunch of sizes too, it's called the Violetta, and you can find it as a single pattern download on my website, or it's available in Layers Crochet digital ebook on my website, or you can order a hard copy of Layers Crochet book, which is my latest crochet book. You can get an autographed copy on my website, or you can buy it on Amazon in all of the Amazon markets all over the world. So no matter where you live, you can get an easy access hard copy, or obviously you can get a digital copy anywhere as well. Lisa has made it. She said it was very easy. I think Cherie said she made it and enjoyed making it as well. So if anyone else has made it, I'm sure everyone would love to hear your testimonial. Jane made hers in bling for her daughter. Wow, I bet that's beautiful. I made this one in Be So Lush yarn, which is my organic cotton and bamboo blended yarn. Do I have it on the right way? Yeah, I do. It's super soft, and you'll notice that the cotton blended with bamboo gives it more of a matte finish. Doesn't have as much sheen as 100% bamboo does. Definitely a little more casual when you go into the cotton blend. And you'll see that it has an A-line to it. It's fitted through the bust, and then we have increases from here down to the bottom. This would be a great candidate for continuing and making it into a tunic length or even a short dress. I wish that I still had enough yarn left to make it into a dress. The only way I could make it into a dress now is if I decided to color block and picked a different color for the hem on the bottom, but I would absolutely love this longer. I think I would even wear it more if it were a dress. But keep in mind, that's because I live in the tropics. If you live somewhere else, you'll probably get a lot more use out of this as a top. Cherie used Be So Fine Shishugi Ban. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, so notice that everybody's been using different yarn for this top too. It's really important to point out that everybody that's picked different yarns of mine also picked the same weight of yarn. In this pattern, like all my other patterns, I always mention what weight of yarn and how many yards was used for each size before going into which yarn that I use, just so that everybody has those options of being able to substitute different yarns. So notice someone did Be So Fine Bling, another person did Be So Fine yarn. Those are both #1 fingering weight yarns, just like Be So Lush yarn. And so super easy to substitute. More than likely you get the same gauge right off the bat. But having said that, if you wanted to go into a thinner yarn or a slightly thicker yarn in Be So Sporty or Be So Serene or any of my other #2 sport weight yarns, all you would need to do, and this is general yarn substitution rules, is you'd have to pay attention to your blocked gauge swatch and try to get a similar gauge. And then, what was that? I got distracted by a comment. What was I going to say about that? Something important. Oh, and then the other way that you can manipulate your gauge is if your gauge is off still, you can pick a different size than you were going to make and try to go up and down that way. There's lots of ways to manipulate gauge to get your finished results. And again, it's such a huge conversation that it's too much for any given podcast, but I can certainly answer any questions anyone has. Did I use foundation chain for this top? I don't think so. I don't remember though. That's really difficult to ask question. I might have. Oh, I know I used foundation ovals for the front here. I don't know what I used on the back. It was a really long time ago that I made this now. But if you have the pattern or you have the book, it would be an easy thing to look up. I definitely used them for connecting the two fronts to do the front 3 pieces right here. It's possible I did it on the back. But if you don't like foundation ovals, you can do a starting chain as well. Austin's Craft Corner wants to know about tips on pricing your first crochet pattern. I would take a look and compare your pattern to other patterns that are similar and see what the market will bear. What is the average price? What is the average price? What's the high and what's the low? And try to figure it out from there. Also to consider is if you're going to have any advertising or promotion in your pattern, then that adjusts the price as well. But I would definitely pay attention to what's in the marketplace right now and go from there. I hope that helped. If you have further questions about pricing a crochet pattern, Austin, $2.30 for your age. I have no idea what that means. 4-year-old, I couldn't read the rest of that. You're welcome. If you have more questions about it, feel welcome to ask, but I would definitely look around to see what other patterns. So you want to consider, did you include charts? Did you not include charts? Is it sized in multiple sizes? Is it made for one size? Is it something that is easy, intermediate, advanced? And what are other patterns that are specifically like yours being sold for? Keeping in mind that when patterns are free, they're often with ads all over those pages. So you'll want to consider what are the ones that are being sold exactly the same way, and try to figure out exactly how many of the components I just mentioned are there, if it includes charts, if it includes sizing, and how intricate the pattern is. Yeah, today's September 11th. I saw a few people talking about it. I think most of us around the world will always remember where we were 18 years ago today on September 11th, 2001. I was living in Israel at the time and pregnant with Marlon, but didn't quite know I was pregnant yet. Thanks, Pamela. Pamela likes the way I'm doing the new pattern stitch tutorials. That's wonderful. You know, it's funny, and I have family and friends who have a birthday today, and they are older than 18, so can only imagine what an impact that day has had on having a birthday on this day. Crazy. Hi, Kimberly. Thanks for joining live. So glad so many of you could join me this morning. Yep, my ex-husband is from Israel and still lives there. That is correct. Man, I lost my train of thought again. Anyway, someone mentioned the new patterns, and I wanted to mention those because I know I did it last night, but sometimes I like to do a little bit of a repeat between the evening podcast and the following morning podcast, just because so many people don't watch both. So the newest stitch tutorial PDF is out, and it is called the Ellen, and it includes, not only does it include all 7 shapes of the 2-row stitch pattern, so you can learn how to work it even in rows and even in rounds, and top-down triangle increase in pattern. You can make this pattern in an increasing rectangle shape, in an increasing square shape, in an increasing circular shape, and an increasing hexagon shape. And when I say increasing, not only can you learn how to take this stitch pattern and apply it to these different shapes, but I tell you which rounds to continue repeating to make this as large as you possibly want. So any of these shapes could be growing. So let's say that you like this stitch pattern in a triangle. I'll tell you which rows to repeat so that you could make it a full-size shawl, and tell you how many repeats you should get, how many additional repeats in your stitch count at the end of each row, so you can still keep track. And that applies to all of these. So if you wanted to make a square blanket, or a large lace circular shawl, or a baby blanket in the hexagon, or even make rugs or placemats in the rectangle. I want placemats in one of these lace rectangles. I think they're so pretty. Or if you even wanted to do a scarf or a shawl or a throw even in rows, or you wanted to make any number of size cowls or skirts or sleeves even in rounds, you can apply all of that through not only all of the instruction in there, there's written instructions, how to increase, charts for everything, 90 project ideas that give you dimensions on how big you want to go in any of those shapes to make a bunch of fabulous projects. And there's more. And there's a pattern at the very end of the PDF, and that is for this beautiful plant hanger, which is made in Be So Serene yarn, and something that you can hang anywhere in your house. I'm hanging this one in my kitchen, and that's where the photo is taken. So the entire PDF is only $3.99, like all of the other ones, and you get all of this amazing information. And I'm so happy that so many of you are loving them. Thank you so much. I love it. I hope that it is inspiring you and empowering you to want to try to explore with yarn without patterns. I think that's going to be really fun. So here's some examples of what the pattern looks like on the inside. You see I have giant charts in here, and all of the print is done in really large font, just like in all of my books. Here's the square. Some of them I use a whole page just so that they're nice and big, and each one comes with a key right on the page, so you don't have to flip back and forth to look at the key if you're new to reading charts. And really interesting information for you to compare is to look back and forth between the charts that are written for even in rounds and even in rows. I'm going to show them to you side by side because I think there's a lot to be learned by studying these two, not only to learn how to use each one, but how to recognize the differences so that when you're looking at a different pattern, not one of mine, you're out there exploring and you're looking at patterns, I want you to notice the differences when you look at the even in rows and even in rounds. At first glance, they look very similar, and then they're not similar. One of them has differences on the end so that you can go back and forth in rows, and the numbers of the rows are written where the rows start. So like these black rows start here and go that way, and the red numbers are on the side where that row begins, and you go that way. So, having said that, when you work in rounds, notice they're identical on the sides because you're working in rounds, not rows, and you can see the number of the round is written in the middle, and you can see that's where the changes are because that's where you join the rounds here. So I think it's really interesting to study those two charts in any of these PDF stitch patterns, because then you're going to recognize the differences, learn how to do each one so you can make scarves with the even and rows, and you can make cowls with the evens and rounds, but you can start to recognize those differences so that at a glance you can look at a chart anywhere and go, oh, that's written for rows, that one's written for rounds. First thing you'll always want to recognize is where are the round or row numbers? Where's the number of that row or round written? If it's written on opposite ends, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, it's written in rows because you're going this way, then you're going this way, then you're going this way. If it's written up the middle, then you're going in rounds, right? So here's round 1, boop, here's round 2, boop, here's round 3. So that's the first thing that I would look for is where are the rounds written? Where are the rows or rounds written, the number, and that will instantly tell you if it's written properly, if it's written to standards and all that other good stuff. But if it's written properly, then that is how you would recognize it. Sandshell learned something new. Wonderful. Now that little tidbit of information can save you a bunch of time when you're going forward. Obviously there's exceptions. Things might be written differently once in a blue moon. What crochet level is Ellen? It's definitely not advanced. No, it is closer to beginner. I'll quickly show you on here. We've got some chains, we've got some single crochets and a double crochet, chain 2 double crochet, 2 double crochets together and a chain 1 on the next row, and it's just a 2 row or 2 round repeat. So I would definitely put this in a beginner level, maybe an advanced beginner at best. If anybody else would like to chime in and tell me what they think about that, I know everybody would like to hear testimonials as well, but I do find this to be definitely on the beginner side of things. This is not an advanced stitch pattern. Cindy wants to know what makes patterns beginner, intermediate, and advanced. There are different guidelines that are written as standards for pattern writing, and I don't remember them off the top of my head, but one of them is how intricate the color work has been added, if there is increasing or decreasing within pattern, how intricate the stitch combinations are. What else? There's quite a few components that go into it. So having said that, obviously if you're Obviously you can really grow with these PDFs too, so learning how to do the stitch pattern even is obviously a lot simpler than how to work it in the round to make a rectangle, but it's something that you could definitely grow with as well. There are definitely different levels of skill within each of these PDFs because there are 7 different shapes that you're making. So if you wanted to start with working even in rows or working even in rounds, this is where I would quantify that this is a simple stitch pattern. Right? It's a very simple stitch pattern to just work it in rows. And as you're reading and learning the PDF, you could definitely advance on to the more intricate shapes. And then that would be closer to advanced beginner. Yeah, it's not intermediate. I would still only call it advanced beginner at best. They're not difficult at this point. I think eventually we'll grow into more difficult stitch patterns, but there's so much to teach and learn just from here. Well, Kimberly, like I just said, it is definitely more simple when you're working them even, and working them into the intricate shapes with the shaping would definitely be something that you could work into if you're a beginner. Cherie says they're pretty simple. Yeah, once you learn the beginning, you build on your skills in this type of tutorial. So you're definitely building on your skills as you go. And so if you're new to crochet or a beginner, definitely start with the even in rows or even in rounds and really understand that stitch pattern and understand how it changes from round to round. I keep this one with a washcloth inside so you can see it. Look at how different it looks when I take it out. It's hard to tell that it's in the round unless I stick my hand in it. See? This one's in the round versus in rows. But yeah, if you're new to any of these stitch patterns, definitely start here first, and you can really grow with this PDF and learn so much. No, they're not difficult at all. As a stitch pattern itself, it's not difficult at all, Judy, that's right. And if you're learning something new, you just start with the first line, right? Just start with your baby steps. So you're gonna start by reading row 1 and just following row 1, following it in the chart, and just work from there. When I'm learning a new piece of music for the piano, in fact, I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. This is a song I used to play years and years ago on piano, and I just decided to go back to playing classical music a couple weeks ago, and so I picked up one of this book. It's way too advanced for me, but that's okay. So the one song that I really wanted to learn to play again is the Turkish March by Mozart, and I have to tell you, the first day, my goal was to get through the first 2 bars, and then my goal was to get through the first line. And then my goal was to get through the first repeat. And my goal now is to get through the first page. And you know what? It has taken me weeks to get this far. I did not plan to play all of this on the first try because I'm not that good. I am probably somewhere in, if we're going to talk in crochet terms, I'm somewhere in the beginner to a beginner advanced stage of piano. I'm not an expert. I'm not a professional. It's just something, I'm an amateur and I love to work hard at it. I love the fact that this piece was too advanced for me when I looked at it. That's something that really excites me because I know that if I give myself time and break it down one piece at a time, I know that I can build on my practice and build on my skills and get somewhere that I want to be if I give myself enough practice and time. And that theory and that work ethic is exactly what applies to stuff like this. So no matter what skill level you're at, if you just get started and work on the easier pieces, I am absolutely certain that you could work your way up to the more advanced pieces. It's just the way learning works. You have to start somewhere and just take those baby steps and put your time in. Do I play instruments on this channel? I never have. Not to say that I couldn't. I'm not sure what I'm not sure if that would interest people that follow me for crafts per se, but I have often thought about playing some of my piano or guitar on my Instagram page. I haven't really thought all that through, but I would like to share it once in a while. Just have to figure out if there's any interest, because I don't want to bore people. I know people are happy hearing about crafts. Oh, okay, so Jacob is requesting that I do share piano on here. Okay. Oh, a couple more, yes, okay. Yes, Kimberly, watch those pennies and the dollars will take care of you. Same concept, it's working baby steps that compound and put you in the right direction, and you grow from them. And that's the way you learn new skills in crochet or cooking or knitting or piano or whatever you want to learn. You just have to put your time in and do those little baby steps, because it will make a difference over time. I'll tell you what, it has for me in every aspect of life. Everything I've ever wanted to learn, I have just worked at until my skills got better. Oh, for the 500th episode. Yeah, maybe that's my goal for learning the first page of this piece of work. It is really difficult for me to do this. And the second and third page look even harder. There's 4 pages. So here's page 2, and here's page 3, and here's page 4. And so far I am really just barely chugging through page 1. But it's the kind of thing that's just all-consuming for my mind, and a nice break for my brain to concentrate on it. So I enjoy it very much. All right, would anybody like to pick a number between 1 and 5? More people saying they love to listen to piano. So maybe it can be another version of the Zen videos, which I'm long overdue for doing a Zen video. So I should get down, should find some interesting corner of Mother Nature to do a Zen video soon. All right, Lisa says book number 4, so let's go to number 4. Here we go. The title of the books are Create, Share, Inspire Notebook, and you can find these on my website. You can also find them on Amazon all over the world, and they are these fabulous creative writing journals, where you can use it as a gratitude journal or a creative journal or writing down your ideas or a diary. There's no wrong way to be creative or personal in your notebook. And then opposite each page that you write on is an inspirational quote that I've curated. I've curated 31 amazing quotes for each one of these issues. And at the moment we have 6 issues published, and you can find, like I said, you can find them on my website as well as Amazon all over the world. So this is issue 4. Let's randomly pick a quote. Hi, baby Bjorn. Let's see, I feel like we've done a few of these. Oh, this one actually applies very well to what we were just talking about. This is by Confucius. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. This really applies to what we were talking about with learning, and it applies to many aspects of life, but especially to what we were just talking about this morning, that if you just take those little baby steps and work little bits at a time, practice the first stitches, practice the first repeats, and just keep adding to your skills and just not giving up, you will be amazed at how much you will grow your skills and your confidence. And it doesn't matter what you're working on, whether you're learning a new piece of piano like I'm doing right now, or learning a new recipe in the kitchen, or learning new exercises at the gym, or learning whatever, or crocheting and knitting like we've been talking about all morning. Whatever you're working on, baby steps compound. You do a baby step, then a baby step, well, now you've got both of those experiences under your belt. It makes a difference, and that is how you grow and get better at anything. So the most important thing is do not give up, and be kind to yourself. Those are the 2 most important things, because if you're impatient with yourself, you're not as open to learning as you could be. And if you don't, And if you give up, obviously you're not going to learn a darn thing. So don't give up. Be patient with yourself and just keep on making those baby steps, and you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. So thank you, Confucius. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. Okay, no matter what you're trying to learn, I'm going to suggest that you make a baby step, learn a tiny little thing, not even learn, practice learning a tiny little new thing today. So if you have any one of these, if you have the new Ellen PDF and you're familiar with working in rows and rounds, I don't know, maybe you've never made a rectangle before. What about just trying the first round? Just trying the first 2 rounds. I'm not saying try to finish the whole thing. Just try a little bit. If you've never done a circle in the round, maybe you've never done a top-down triangle before. Maybe just try working 2 rows and see if you can get past the second row. Why not? What's it gonna hurt? Nothing. Jacob is a new subscriber. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you're new to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing. We do live stream podcast 5 days a week where you can ask me questions about anything, specifically crafts, and we work through people's questions. I do lots of tutorial videos as well. There are thousands of tutorial videos here on my channel. And if you like the content of any of my specific videos, including today, Kathy's a new subscriber too. Well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. I know our community is really warm and inviting, and I know you're going to feel welcomed by not only me, but the other people who join us here, including our amazing moderators. So thank you all for joining. If you join the podcast early in the morning, there is a pre-chat area where the community can chat before I go live. I know a lot of people have made friends there, and that's been super fun too. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, look at lots of people saying welcome to the new subscribers. Yes, we love having you here and love meeting new people. Thank you so much. What's the name of the music book? It is classical music something. But thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed the show and tell and the demo of the tops that I'm wearing. Oh, I brought a second top to show and I forgot to show it to you. Whoopsie. We can do that one tomorrow. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Or maybe in a video before then. I've got a couple of videos that are going to be coming out this week as well. All right, bye-bye.